What if I told you the quietest week in Love Island USA history just turned into the loudest Nicolandria comeback we've ever seen? Because Nic and Olandria, yes, the couple from Love Island Season 7, just flipped the script again. While everyone's been busy arguing about Ace, Taylor, Cierra, and even Huda's side comments, the real story was unfolding right in front of us. Out of nowhere, Olandria dropped her first Harper's Bazaar Vietnam cover, her editorial debut, and it didn't just break the internet, it crowned her as the first Love Island alum to pull off a true high-fashion moment. In just 4 months after leaving that villa, she's done what most reality show stars spend years trying to prove, that she's not chasing clout, she's building legacy. From Nick's subtle support moves to fans losing their minds on TikTok, the Nicolandria era is officially here. And trust me, once you see how this happened, you'll understand why silence might have been their greatest strategy yet.
Before we dive in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free, it boosts your serotonin, and honestly, it might be the only button Nick hasn't pressed yet this week. When Love Island USA Season 7 first hit our screens, nobody expected the calmest girl in the villa to end up becoming the face of a global fashion moment. But that's exactly what happened. Olandria didn't just play the game, she studied it. While everyone else was chasing drama, she was quietly building a connection that felt real. And that's where Nick came in. Together, they built something rare. Chemistry that didn't feel manufactured, a storyline that wasn't over-edited, and a bond that viewers actually believed in. That's how Nicolandria was born. Not from chaos, but from control. Week after week, fans saw the difference. Olandria wasn't loud, she wasn't messy, and she didn't need to perform for the cameras. Instead, she carried herself like she already knew she was bigger than the show. Even in moments of tension, she had that calm confidence, the kind that makes producers frustrated, but audiences obsessed. By the time the finale rolled around, everyone knew she had it. The kind of presence that can't be faked or coached. And while some Islanders left the show hoping to stay relevant through podcasts and brand deals, Olandria walked away with something more powerful: potential.
Nick saw it too. He wasn't just her partner on screen, he became her biggest creative ally off screen. When the cameras stopped rolling, he didn't chase clout either. He let the work speak. The result? 2 people who understood the assignment and each other better than anyone else from that villa. But after the finale, something unexpected happened. Olandria didn't flood Instagram with selfies. She didn't drop endless sponsorships or go live every night for validation. She disappeared. And while everyone else was posting for attention, Nicolandria went quiet. And that's where this story really begins. After the finale, it felt like every Islander was scrambling to hold on to the spotlight. Lives, collabs, apology tours, the whole usual post-show chaos. But Olandria? She vanished. No overexposed PR moments, no fake feuds, no desperate rebranding, just silence. And at first, fans didn't know what to make of it. The Nicolandria Nation timeline went from constant updates to complete radio silence. Even Nick, who had been active on Strava and showing up to Knicks games, wasn't saying much about what they were working on.
But here's the thing, that kind of quiet doesn't happen by accident. In an era where every influencer overshares, staying silent is strategy. Olandria didn't disappear because she was lost. She was plotting. Behind that calm exterior was a team building something that would redefine her image from reality TV contestant to editorial powerhouse. Meanwhile, fans started noticing patterns. She stopped liking random posts. She unfollowed a few names from the villa. Ace, Taylor, even Cierra for a while. And everyone started whispering. Was there drama? Was Nicolandria done? Was she rebranding solo? But if you looked closer, the clues were there. The new photo shoots felt sharper. The makeup looks more refined. Her captions got shorter, more cryptic.
Words like "in motion" and "locked in" started showing up, and the fandom split in two. Half thought she was over it, the other half thought she was cooking something huge. Spoiler, the second group was right.
Because while everyone else was busy chasing hashtags, Olandria was working in silence, about to drop the kind of project that would make even her critics shut up. A project that would take a quiet girl from Alabama and turn her into a global headline. And when it finally dropped, it wasn't just a win. It was a statement. Then, out of nowhere, boom, November 11th, OlaVember. That's the day Olandria broke the internet. One morning, fans woke up to see her face on the cover of Harper's Bazaar Vietnam, styled like she walked straight out of a Bridgerton film and into a Vogue fantasy. It wasn't a tease, not a leak, not a rumor, a full-blown editorial spread. And suddenly, all that silence made sense. The photos? Unreal. Every frame looked like a movie still. The short bob, the gloves, the sunset backdrop, the drama in the dress, you could almost feel the confidence radiating through the lens. For the first time since the villa, the world wasn't seeing Olandria from Love Island, they were seeing Olandria, the artist. Harper's Bazaar didn't just hand her a photo shoot, they gave her a throne. This wasn't influencer glam, this was storytelling. And the irony? She pulled this off just 4 months after leaving a dating show.
Within hours, the fandom went feral. She's her own competition. Nicolandria just unlocked their Vogue era. This isn't a comeback, it's a coronation. Tweets, TikToks, edits, YouTube shorts all flooded the timeline. The same people who once doubted her were now quoting her captions, calling it the redemption arc of the year. Nick's reaction? Subtle but powerful. He reposted one of the shots with nothing but a crown emoji and a single word, proud. Fans noticed. That one gesture said everything. No PR, no drama, just quiet support. It was more than a cover. It was a masterclass in patience, branding, and timing. She didn't rush her moment, she curated it. And Harper's Bazaar Vietnam knew what they were doing too. Featuring a Love Island alum was a bold move. But Olandria wasn't just another reality show face. She was proof that discipline, mystery, and authenticity still matter in a world addicted to noise. In that moment, the message was clear. She wasn't chasing fame anymore. Fame was chasing her.
If that cover didn't make you gasp at least once, hit that subscribe button. Because clearly, Olandria's PR team isn't the only one dropping surprises this month. If Section 3 was the explosion, this part was the aftershock. The second those Harper's Bazaar photos dropped, the internet went into full meltdown mode. We're talking TikToks hitting 500,000 views overnight, Twitter threads analyzing every pose, and fan edits that looked like movie trailers. The fandom had seen glow-ups before, but this wasn't a glow-up. This was a rebirth. And for the Nicolandria Nation, it felt personal. These were the same fans who had defended Olandria through the messier Love Island weeks, through the critiques, the side-eyes, the think pieces. So when those cover shots landed, it wasn't just pride. It was vindication. The comment sections were filled with people saying, "See, this is why we never switch sides." Then came the brand wave. Harper's Bazaar tagged her on Instagram, and within hours, the post was being reshared by stylists, photographers, and even a few names from the fashion industry who usually ignore reality stars. Some fans even noticed that a few luxury brands quietly started following her after the drop. You know, the kind that doesn't just follow anyone. And suddenly, the old narrative, the one where Love Island alumni fizzle out after their 15 minutes, was dead. Because Olandria had just proved she could move in editorial spaces without losing her relatability.
Even people who didn't watch the show were like, wait, who is she? That's the moment you know the branding clicked.
when the work speaks louder than the origin story. Meanwhile, Nic played it cool. No over-the-top captions, no dramatic statements, just quiet alignment. Attending his events, making professional appearances, and letting Olandria take center stage. That balance is exactly what fans love about them. They lift each other up without stepping on each other's spotlight. And as for Ace, Taylor, and Cierra, they had their moments too, but this one wasn't about them. Because while others were posting selfies, Olandria was being studied by fashion directors. It was the kind of shift that doesn't just trend, it changes trajectories. And right when everyone thought it couldn't get any bigger, whispers started circulating online about the team behind this transformation. Because as perfect as this rollout looked, it clearly wasn't luck. It was design. You don't pull off a cover like that alone. Behind every headline, every perfect pose, and every viral post, there's a team. And Olandria's team, they understood the assignment better than anyone.
Let's start with the creative direction. It's been quietly rumored that Nic had a hand in shaping the tone of her new image, not as her boyfriend, but as her brand partner. He's been building his own momentum lately. The Strava partnership, the Knicks courtside appearances, all of it strategically clean, visually sharp, and rooted in consistency. The same creative fingerprints showed up in Olandria's rollout. The photographer? A rising name in the Southeast Asian fashion scene, known for cinematic textures and storytelling composition. The stylist leaned into timeless silhouettes, corseted gowns, sculpted gloves, all paired with minimalist accessories that let Olandria's face do the talking. And whoever handled her PR clearly had a vision. They didn't pitch her as a Love Island star. They pitched her as Olandria, a model and creative entering her editorial era. See the difference? It's subtle but powerful. This was the work of people who get it. They knew that mystery builds interest, silence creates demand, and authenticity outlasts drama. They weren't chasing clicks. They were constructing longevity.
And it worked. Every piece of the rollout felt intentional. From the timing of the release, right after a quiet month in the fandom, to the way Harper's Bazaar Vietnam cross-promoted it on multiple platforms. Even the captions were minimal. No over-explaining, no hashtags, just impact. Meanwhile, the fandom noticed the alignment. Nic's Instagram aesthetic, muted tones, editorial framing, calm confidence, perfectly mirrored Olandria's new visual identity. Fans started saying, they're not just a couple, they're a brand. Compare that to the rest of the Villa crowd. Ace pushing nightlife appearances, Taylor diving into influencer collabs, Cierra doing podcast circuits. All valid, but none as polished. Olandria and Nic were building something else entirely, a shared creative universe. And when you think about it, that's genius. Instead of trying to outshine each other, they doubled down on brand synergy. Olandria elevated Nic's image, and Nic gave her campaign-level creative support. Together, they quietly set a new bar for what a post-Love Island couple could look like. Less chaos, more consistency. It's what every PR team dreams of, and what most reality stars never achieve.
And yet, even with all the attention, Olandria didn't rush to capitalize. She stayed selective. No random fast fashion deals, no use my discount code stories, just focus. And that restraint, it screamed professionalism. Because here's the secret no one talks about. In the influencer world, discipline is the new luxury. If that level of strategy doesn't make you want to hit subscribe, I don't know what will. I mean, if they can build empires from silence, we can at least build this channel together. Deal? If the Harper's Bazaar Vietnam cover was the spark, what's coming next looks like a full-blown firestorm. Because once that shoot dropped, it wasn't just fans who noticed. Industry people started talking, fast. editors, stylists, and talent agencies began quietly mentioning Olandria's name in circles that most reality stars never even get near. Rumors started swirling that she's already been approached for another international feature. And yes, some say it might even be Vogue-affiliated. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of rushing to confirm anything, Olandria kept playing the long game. Her captions? Still short. Her posts? Still clean. Every move feels like part of a bigger plan. And when a fan asked her in a Q&A, what's next, her answer was just 3 words. Locked in motion. That line alone set off 1,000 theories. Some people think she's prepping a Met Gala appearance. Others think she's partnering with a luxury beauty house for her first major campaign. But no matter which rumor is true, one thing's certain. Olandria's not chasing opportunities anymore. She's curating them.
Meanwhile, Nick's been just as strategic. He's showing up at events that align with fashion, culture, and lifestyle. Nothing random, nothing forced. When you look at both of them side by side, it feels like they're slowly building a shared blueprint, a power couple aesthetic that doesn't rely on the villa anymore. And the crazy part? They're still not overexposing it. No back-to-back interviews, no performative content, just solid execution and mystery. The 2 ingredients most celebrities wish they could master. Fans have started calling it the Nicolandria Blueprint because while others are posting daily updates for engagement, Nic and Olandria are proving that less is more. And when done right, silence can make more noise than a scandal ever could. Every new post feels like a breadcrumb leading somewhere bigger. Every caption feels like a teaser. And every move they make seems one step closer to something massive. Whether it's Vogue, the Met Gala, or a major global brand collaboration, the message is clear. Olandria is not coming for influencer gigs. She's coming for legacy. And that's what makes this story so addicting to watch. Because we're not just witnessing fame, we're watching the evolution of influence. At this point, calling them a Love Island couple almost feels outdated. Because what Nic and Olandria have built goes way beyond that villa, that season, or even that show. This is strategy meets chemistry, and it's working on every level. While most post-show couples fade into brand deals and nostalgia edits, Nicolandria turned themselves into something rarer, a cultural case study. Nic's sleek, intentional public image complements Olandria's quiet confidence so perfectly that it almost feels choreographed. Except it isn't. That's just who they are. Every time she drops something, a new shoot, a subtle hint, even a caption, he amplifies it without saying a word. And when he has his moments, like the Strava feature or that Knicks courtside shot that got the sports blogs buzzing, she boosts him right back. It's the kind of unspoken synergy that audiences crave because it feels real, but elevated. And the fandom? They've evolved right along with them. What started as Nicolandria Nation, a chaotic, emotional fan base during the Villa days, has matured into a creative community that treats every post like an event. They're not just watching anymore, they're participating. Fan accounts turned into digital magazines. People are analyzing color palettes, breaking down captions, making theories about future projects. It's turned into a full ecosystem of curiosity.
That's the Nicolandria effect. They turned silence into momentum. They turned timing into art. And they proved that reality TV fame doesn't have to burn out, it can evolve. What's wild is that they did it without a massive PR push, without scandals, and without selling a breakup story. They kept their brand clean, consistent, and mysterious, which ironically made them even more magnetic. It's the same reason editors and brands are watching now, because this is what modern influence looks like when it's done with intention. Nic and Olandria have essentially rewritten the Love Island playbook. No constant lives, no drama bait, no he said, she said, just patience, execution, and aesthetic control. And as fans keep saying online, they didn't just win Love Island, they won after Love Island.
So, if you've made it this far without hitting subscribe, congratulations! You've got more restraint than me when Harper's Bazaar drops new photos. Go ahead, tap it. Let's keep decoding this saga together. 4 months ago, Olandria walked out of the Love Island villa with nothing but a suitcase, a connection, and a dream. No PR team, no guaranteed fame, just belief. And somehow she turned that belief into a global headline. When people first saw her, they thought she was just another contestant on a dating show. But now, she's on the cover of Harper's Bazaar Vietnam. That's not luck, that's evolution. That's what happens when someone refuses to be defined by where they started. Nic once said in an interview that some winds don't make noise. And looking at where they are now, he was right. Because Nicolandria didn't need to trend every week. They didn't need scandals or breakups to stay relevant. They just kept building, quietly, intentionally, together. And that's the beauty of it. When everyone else was chasing attention, they were building foundation. When others were shouting, they were strategizing. When most reality stars were trying to stay famous, Nicolandria were becoming timeless.
It's easy to forget that all this started in a villa built for chaos. But somehow, they turned chaos into clarity. From Olandria's Harper's Bazaar moment to Nic's quiet rise in culture and fashion, they've proven that Love Island isn't where their story ended, it's where their empire began. So maybe the real crown doesn't come from winning a show. Maybe it comes from building something the cameras can't script, something rooted in trust, growth, and silence that speaks louder than any reunion episode ever could. Because in the end, Nicolandria didn't just play the game, they rewrote it. If you've made it all the way here, you deserve your own Harper's Bazaar feature. But until then, hit that subscribe button. It's cheaper than therapy and way more satisfying than refreshing Olandria's Instagram.